Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, got your bellies full, had some good fun with family and friends, and I hope you're ready to tuck in and hear a good story. So I'm starting this new series. It's going to be episode 1 starting tonight called Freaky Friday Stories with me. Baby Love, aka Tori. So, on tonight's episode, the story is called Sitting in Santa Barbara. And the story opens up with a seemingly perfect couple, Patrick, the dad, the mom, Elise, and little baby Noah, who is their toddler. This is a well-to-do family living in Santa Barbara who occasionally needs someone to come in and sit for them and care for baby Noah, who has um, a undisclosed chronic illness. Um, while they sometimes go to their plated dinners, their galas, their evening functions where he can't attend with them. So they would have someone come and sit with Noah um, while they did those things. And what they would do is find people who were in need of shelter and also finances. And what they would provide the people in return for caring for Noah is a place to stay. So they were able to have room and board basically, and they also got a pretty sizable stipend for taking care of Noah, cleaning the house, and providing meals occasionally when asked. Um, so they would host interviews occasionally looking for specifically females that were able to stay for extended periods of time that um, when they required. So um, they would have days that they would hold these interviews, and they were specifically looking for vagrants, people who, maybe came to Santa Barbara and didn't find the luck that they were looking for in securing a steady place with the cost of living being what it was there. They were also looking for people who kind of were okay um, being vagrants and kind of bouncing from place to place. So they didn't really have a steady, stable place to call their own. So when they saw their very vast and expanse estate, they were all the more excited to accept the position if offered. So they hold interviews on this particular day, and a couple of people came and they conducted the interview. They asked their basic questions about their family life, their home life, their family, their friends, if they were involved with a partner, um, their experience caring for a child. Not that they would have to take very specific care of Noah, but in the event that there was an emergency, because his specific illness kind of required his room to be a safe zone. So it was very sterile. There were very specific protocols that were enacted in the event that anyone ever needed to enter his room. So they wouldn't have very much hands-on care with Noah when they were there. It was strictly for emergency purposes if something were to go awry while his parents were away at one of their functions. So they interviewed several candidates um, on a particular day, and three of the first candidates were a no-go for them. For whatever reason, mom and dad, Patrick and Elise, could not agree on the people. Um, So they were about to call it quits, but then they realized they had one more person to interview for that day. So the next person comes and they're talking to them, giving them the same rundown of interview questions that they gave the previous three ladies. And for some reason, this young lady stood out to them. She didn't have much to speak of in the way of friends. She was kind of a loner. She wasn't involved with anyone. She had cut ties with her family. She's an only child. Um, so there was no one really standing in the way of her coming to stay for any extended period of time at their home to care for Noah and to take care of their estate. So they thought that this young lady would be a good fit. Um, so they took a brief moment, stepped away, and they discussed if Rowan, which is the young lady's name, if Rowan would be a good fit, and they both agreed. So they came back and they offered Rowan the position. Of course, they filled her in on everything and explained the do's and the don'ts and the particulars to ensure this was something that she was willing to do before she accepted. She assured them that she was perfectly fine with all of their stipulations and she was excited to accept the position. So she did just that. And the first evening came, and Noah had been particularly fussy. Um, the parents had explained to Rowan that Noah had been particularly fussy, so she wouldn't have to do anything for him that evening, more than likely. He had had his medicine and he'd gone down early, so she was free to just kind of keep an ear out for him. He had the monitor in the room. She would be able to hear him on the monitor if something went on that she needed to. But other than that, just kind of give him his space and leave him. His room was very vast, expanse, filled with everything that he needed or could want besides food. He had already been fed, had his medicine, been put to bed. So as the parents left for the evening to go to their event, Rowan was left to just kind of explore and enjoy the house, which had everything she could want. There was a pool, a jacuzzi, there was food, there was snacks, there was drink, there was pretty much anything, a movie theater, there was anything that her heart desired as far as entertainment that she could enjoy in the house. And she did. She took advantage of a lot of those things and she explored. And there was no issue that night. She thought that, she had hit the jackpot and this was going to be her meal ticket, so to speak. She would definitely be their steady person to look after little Noah when they needed someone. What more could she ask for? A big, beautiful house with lovely amenities, getting paid on top of that, and all she had to do was some light tidying because they had a steady maid that came in. So she just kind of needed to clean up small things, tidy up if there was anything that was out of place in between the times that the maid came. So she figured what more could she want? She had landed her dream gig and she would be able to save up money to get her place and do whatever she wanted to do outside of when she was working this gig. So all goes well in the beginning. So she's kind of relaxed and, during the days when they come in, she lets them know that there was no problem. Noah was excellent. She would often hear the mom, Elise, and the dad, Patrick, in the room playing with Noah or taking care of him. She didn't enter his room ever unless there was an issue that required her to, which there had not been thus far. So she would often hear them talking with Noah or playing with Noah. and she just kind of went about her way and did her own thing. Or if they required something from her, she would take care of that. Um, but she had a vehicle that was supplied to her by them to drive around. So she was at liberty to do whatever she wanted to do during the days, and especially when they didn't need her. So she would kind of take off and explore Santa Barbara. And then she would come back in the evenings, and it would be back to the regularly scheduled program if they needed her to care for Noah that evening. Occasionally, she would prepare meals, and she would let the mom know when the meals were prepared, and she would fix the plates, and she would deliver it to the door, and the mom would get it and give it to Noah. Um, so all seems to be going well. It doesn't appear like anything could go wrong or would go wrong with this. But you know the old saying, when it seems too good to be true, it usually is. And in this case, trouble was lurking just around the corner for our girl Rowan, because things definitely were not as this couple made it seem to her. So it definitely it went it went well for a while for her, but then things started to get a little strange. But it wasn't one of those outright strange. It was kind of under the surface, a little bit of head scratching, things that kind of made you question things, but then you would quickly shake your head and shake them off like, no, I'm imagining things. It's all in my head. I'm trying to create a problem out of nowhere. Everything seems to be fine. So she explained all of that away because, after all, who would want to give up what seemed to be such a perfect gig? The place, the money, the location, the freedom, a car provided by them. It just, the situation seemed too perfect, and she didn't want to create a problem if there wasn't anything outright. So she ignored all the little sneaking suspicions that she had of, um, you know, questioning or wondering why Noah didn't come out of the room, because the mom explained those things away by, oh, he's having a bad day, or, today's been an extremely difficult time for him today with his illness, or, everything that she kind of questioned in her mind, or they thought that she would question, their response always seemed perfect, and it would satisfy her curiosities enough that she didn't wonder about those things anymore. So we've gone a little while and things are going well for her, and she's just kind of kicked back and settled into her new situation. But as I said, things are about to take a drastic turn when, after doing this routine for several weeks, she all of a sudden hears something coming from Noah's monitor. But it doesn't sound like a baby crying. It sounds like people talking on the monitor. And she's the only one there with Noah. The parents are gone. So it should just be her and baby Noah. But she's hearing talking that's coming from his room that she assumes is coming from the monitor. So, of course, she has to go check that out. Um, but of course, she has these very astringent protocols that she has to follow before she is ever allowed to enter his room. So there's a suit that she has to put on. She has to be masked up. She has to sanitize before and after entering and exiting his room. So she's in the process of doing all of that so she can go in and check out what she thinks she heard on the monitor. And I think I'm going to end it right there for tonight. So if you want to hear in the next episode in part 2 of Sitting in Santa Barbara to find out what goes on when Rowan goes in to check the monitor, come back and stay tuned. All right, guys. Hope you have a great night, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.